So after many years, here we are once again, together again, the Fresh CroMagnon crew.
CroMagnon Men.
I'm MFSB.
And I am Hosh Miagi.
And we're here to introduce the end of an era with the final show, which may not be the final show, but as far as we know.
It may or may not be. We'll keep you guys on the edge of your seats.
That's right. But so we're just gonna kind of reflect on the last 7 years, Jesus, of the show, and kind of talk about things and stuff.
Yeah. 7 years. I had just turned 20. I was 20.
Jesus.
You were 30.
I was 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
My beard now is gray.
My beard now is fuller.
So are
but
you?
Still not. Yeah, so am I.
We're both fuller.
After 7 years, we have packed on the manliness.
That's right.
As I like to call it, because I don't like calling myself fat. Even though that's kind of what it's gotten down to.
Man muscle.
Man muscle.
That's right.
That's right.
It's funny, we've been watching some of the old episodes and we're like, wow, that was, who's that guy?
That was me? Really?
I can't do that.
No.
But it's been really a cool kind of journey because, like, we're from different parts of the country. We meet in Oregon. We start climbing. Yeah, we're like, I'm trying to do this. Who are you? And then out of that, we end up with this, like, oh, we'll go to Joshua Tree, and then we'll go to California, and then we'll make a show.
Yeah,
and
and almost a decade later, we're here, like, somehow we have a studio, and we're both doing different stuff.
But yeah, we went from being poor and living on the floor in Oregon to now we're in LA and we're in the industry, but we're still
poor.
Yeah, still kind of living on the floor. But anyway, but still climbing and still psyched. So
emotionally, we are like a year older, I think.
It's true.
We've gotten,
I'm like 31.
Yeah, we've grown up. I'm probably 22.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably
21 and a half, but just round,
yeah,
you just round it
rounding
up.
up.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know.
Emotionally.
I try and round it down.
Yeah.
You know, because when you hit your 30s,
exactly.
You don't want to be 40 too fast.
Yeah, we should start having emotional birthdays.
We should.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'd be amazing.
Like every half decade.
Yeah, exactly. Dumb. Anyway,
nope.
No, it's been I mean, it's been a journey, dude, just like you said it. No reference to the music. You're not gonna hear any Journey on this.
Don't stop the journey. Whoa. That's too high.
Yeah, make a liar out of me.
I know. Well, we didn't hear it. We did it.
You did it.
I did that journey. Well, I did have a couple things I wanted to ask, so we could kind of like.
We're interviewing ourselves.
Yes.
That's how far we've come.
So we want to kind of counterpoint our experiences and stuff. So if you had one highlight or the one thing that sticks out in your mind, like when I go Fresh Cro and you go bam.
Two things come to mind. A, when we first met, like not when we first met, but the fact that you called me the next day. I think I even told you on the phone when you called me. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting you to call me.
Yeah, I remember that.
But then we went climbing. It was that day, right? You called me, and you're like, "You want to hit up Woodgie Creek again or something?" And I think we went. So it's either that, or sitting at New River when we decided that we were gonna record stuff and like make a show, and so sitting on the rock in the middle of the river with terrible sound quality because the river's going, you know, you're. And then you hear me talking like, oh, sorry about the little camera and stuff. And so that first intro was kind of like, was kind of the essence of Fresh Cro. Like, hey, we're not Chris Sharma, you know, we don't have people following us around with cameras. And so this is what we have. We have shitty audio and a shitty camera, and we just love climbing and we want to document it. So, and I'm glad that we did, because now I can look back on those things. And, you know, pictures are great, but video is just amazing. What about you?
So, well, the thing that sticks out of my mind, which actually we don't have any video from at all, is when we went to Joshua Tree, because that was our first trip together.
Yeah.
But the other thing that was so great about that is we had our buddy from Arizona bring like a crew. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of assembled a crew from Oregon, and we brought them all together in the desert.
Oh,
and
my
then
God.
I remember us several times sitting there and it was kind of like we were the dual kings. We would just kind of look out at all these people climbing and having a good time, and they're all strange. They didn't know each other, and everyone's having a great time. And we were like, we did this, you know?
Yep.
And we had all these kind of silent exchanges where we were just like nodding and smiling and being like, yep. You don't need to say anything, I understand. And
exactly.
And then, as most people know on climbing trips, it's like long and hard. You know, you're driving for 10 hours or 15 hours or 20 hours straight, and you climb every single day, and you come back and you're exhausted and you're dirty and you're completely overwhelmed, and it feels like you were gone for a month.
Yeah.
You were gone for a week, and then when you come home, you have to like immediately fall back into regular life, but you can't.
Yeah.
And so it felt like at that point, like, oh, I've known you for a decade, and I've known you for like a year or something, you know?
Yeah, it was definitely a residual euphoria after that trip, for sure.
We have to make an album and call it Residual Euphoria.
Right? And it's just us talking.
Right.
William Shatner style with a beat in the background. Exactly. And then I'm just going to talk like this, and we can have that beat. And we need to get Rollins, because they do stuff together.
That's right.
So, Rollins, if you're out there.
Yes, and you're listening to this.
Which, if you are, like...
This is your wake-up call.
Exactly.
Here's another question. So, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you climbing?
When I stopped.
When was that?
Because
2009, 2010?
Yeah, 2009, 2010. I think it's because, I'm not going to name any names, but I started dating somebody that...
That was when you were with...
Yeah. Good job. That's going to sound legit.
I bleep myself sometimes.
Yeah, well, that wasn't a bleep. That was a total reversal or mix-up.
I reverse my bleeps.
Yeah, you... So if it goes beep, does it go eep?
Don't give me away.
Okay.
These are trade secrets.
I know, I'm sorry. But we can cut that out.
This is like a smodcast? What's it called?
Podcast?
No, but the Kevin Smith version.
Oh, smodcast.
It's fucking Cro-Cast.
That's Cro-Cast, that's right. Not to be confused with croquet.
Nope.
Which...
Rhymes with...
Bouquet.
Silly.
I'm glad that you said silly.
Yep.
I was trying to really rhyme croquet. And I did.
You did. You rhymed the hell out of it.
I don't know anything else that rhymes with that.
So anyway, back to...
Yeah. Girls take you away from things sometimes. They got that power.
They've got the power.
That's, yeah. I used a different P word.
Yep.
For it.
Because you're polite.
That's right. Good P words.
Yep.
Yeah. So no, I procrastinated with my ascensions.
Pow.
Wow. Not even pow, just wow. Yeah, so I mean, I was still climbing every now and then, you know, and she actually got me into drinking a lot of beer, and you know, because she was from the South, and you know, which was great because she got me into football and whatever. That was fun. But I started just climbing less and drinking more.
One-arm curls.
Yeah. So I, you know, kind of descended into not really climbing anymore.
One of the most interesting things for me on the journey is that
It happened twice.
Yep. Well, now it's a thing.
It is a thing.
Yeah. Is that over the last like 7 or 8 years, we've had so many parallels, and it didn't matter because, you know, we're both in Oregon, and then we moved to LA, and then I was living in Yosemite for like a year, and then like you were going back and forth between home and here, and then I was overseas for a couple years, and like the whole time I was overseas, I wasn't doing any climbing either. So I had like basically 3 years of I'm like, oh, I'm going to school and I'm working, and in my head I was a climber, but my body not at all, you know.
Yeah.
And I kind of forgot how much I loved it, and it wasn't until and actually I did a climbing trip in October last year, and I went and I was like, God, I really love climbing so much, and I came home and
then nothing.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't until 6 months later, this year in March, when I did the second climbing trip, that I was like, oh right, October, yeah, I went climb. I like that. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to consciously choose to recommit to being a rock climber.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, Fresh Cro helped me do that.
Whenever I'm like, oh, I just can't climb as hard as I used to, and you know, for me now, it's not so much about climbing hard. It's about just having fun, which sometimes I think I'm like creating this thing for a cop out, like, oh, I don't have to climb hard because I've already climbed really hard. No, it's just for fun. But then I think I stopped climbing because it stopped being fun.
So now that I've come back. I kind of feel like this is me starting the second half of my climbing career.
Yeah.
Because this is my 20th year climbing. Even though I've had breaks, like a 3-year break.
Yeah.
Now I'm super psyched to climb again. And it's basically, I don't have any other gear other than climbing gear. And so whenever I have time or energy,
which both are lacking lately.
I try and go climbing.
Yeah. I've been doing, that's and that just brings us to another parallel. We're both on that, like, we have to start over again. And it's really hard because we have to start over again and we're back to square one. I'm almost 40, well, I'm not anymore. I'm 30 pounds heavier than what I was when you first met me and we started climbing. Some of those dynos, I can still do some of those dynos, but gravity's like, pfft.
And that's another parallel where we're both now in a different decade than we were when we started. And so I think we're both looking at, like, it's funny, like, climbing for a long time kind of retarded my progress because I'm like, I'll just be a climbing bum. Yeah. And I'll just live in my car. And I'll just live on the floor.
Because I can do that when we're young and we can.
And I'll just live in my tent and I'll just have nothing. And then I'll go work for like 6 months straight and I won't climb or do anything. It'll be my whole life. I'll work like 7 days a week. And I'll still live like a rock climber so I can save like 90% of my paycheck. Yeah. And then I can take half a year off.
Yep, and then go climb and do all this other stuff.
And then I'll just repeat that over and over.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter what my relationship is or what's going on with my family or whatever because I'm a selfish SOB and I'm just going to be a rock climber. Yeah. And so I feel like, okay, so now I'm in my late 30s and I'm like, I don't have any savings and I don't have any money and I have no insurance and I have nothing.
But okay, so on the other end of that though, like, yeah, I mean, my brother just bought his first house and he's like 5 years younger than me or something like that. And I'm super happy for him and stuff, and that's really great. But it's one of those things where the people that I grew up with, yeah, they're married, they have kids, they have jobs, whatever. But when I sit down and have a conversation with them, they're like, oh my God, you did that? And you went where?
You've done everything.
So like I have this life that I've built where I've done so many things and seen so many people and places that now when I'm ready to kind of like be a rock climber but also segue into real life, you know, I'm really wealthy in my memories and the friendships that I've made. But when it comes to monetary wealth, then you're right. It's retarded us financially. I would do it the same way over again.
So the second thing I was going to say though is but now climbing is the motivation. Yeah. So now I'm like, okay, I have this certain set of skills, so I'm in the process of applying to a career job because that will enable me to have the money and the time to go rock climbing.
Yep, exactly.
Because now that I'm older, I want to be like, how about we fly to this place and we take 2 weeks and we go climb there. Yep. And we can still pay all our bills. We can probably go have a better time because we don't have to scrimp and save and go there and every single little, like, let's steal ketchup packets because we can't afford it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like now it's like, I want to have the career job because I want to be able to have a good gear and not be like, well, it's probably okay, it didn't break. You know, like, so it's funny how the first half of my life climbing kind of, it's almost like you said, the memory bank is rich, but every other part of my life is weak. Kind of empty, you know? But now it's like that same activity is the thing that's going to turn my life around. Exactly. You know? Well, so one thing that I'll share with you and also the audience like Henry Rollins, who's going to listen to this on his way to getting William Shatner over here, is that so I came across this recent. I just went up to Yosemite for a couple weeks and I came across this amazing, there's all these great people, you know, especially at a mecca like Yosemite, and because it draws them, but then you know you like literally run into and you're like, oh, you just changed my life because you said this to me. You know? And so one of the things that happened was this guy said, so many people do so many things. Yeah. And he's like, but you only have the time and energy and the direction and everything for so many things. Yep. And he's like, so you need to think in terms of like your hands. And he's like, so everyone has like a dominant hand and then they have their non-dominant hand. And he's like, so if the like palm of your hand represents like you or like your life or the things you do, then each one of those fingers is like one of the things. Yeah. So he's like, you can kind of have like, well, this hand is the hand that like is the majority of my life. So it's, you know, my job, my relationship, and, you know, my hobby or whatever, you know. So for me, it's like, okay, these are the 5 things that I spend the majority of my time on. It's my job, my relationship, climbing, filmmaking, and sleep.
Yep.
It's like, if I'm not doing one of those things, I'm doing one of those other things, or I'm doing something that contributes directly to one of those things.
Yeah.
And then, you know, my non-dominant hand is like maybe another 5 things I like to do, but that's just kind of like
if I get around to
in
it,
the background
yeah,
or whatever.
It exists.
But it was just this great way for me to consciously
Visualize,
choose, like,
yeah.
okay, whenever I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, or do I have time for this, or do I want this in my life, or whatever, I literally can just look at my hand and I can visualize each one of those fingers is like, is this that person? Is this that thing? Is this my job or career? Is this climbing? Is this... No? Okay, well, maybe I have room. And if I don't, then I kind of go, well, maybe that's too many things in my life, or maybe this other thing is more important than that, and that would be fun to do, but I'm just not going to put it in my life because I'd rather focus and be really successful at these 5 things.
You focus on the triple P threat coming up.
Bam.
It's Palm Perfect Priorities. Done. Yeah, no, that's a great. I haven't heard that until now, and that's a perfect way to visualize things.
So when I think of like climbing together, the Joshua Tree trip is what I think of.
Yeah.
When I think of actually like making the show, my favorite memory is when we first started. You alluded to this, like we're out there with a little camera and the noise, and we didn't know what we were doing and everything.
Yeah.
But
we didn't even have it on the right setting.
Yeah, no. We're like, oh, this is the worst setting. We'll just film it on that.
Yeah.
Whoops. So we went out, did that, went home, edited it all day
On
the terrible editing
terrible
equipment.
program.
And then we went out the next day and filmed the next episode.
Yeah.
And then we stayed up all night
editing
and edited it. And then we were like, we need to make a DVD. So we made a DVD of the 2 episodes.
And then we
watched it.
But
so,
we signed them first.
Yes, we signed them. And then we went in. And so at the time, we were selling furniture and stuff so we could afford to buy food. And we're living on like
rice and sausage.
Rice and sausage. And eggs. And so we'd buy, you know, a huge thing of rice, a huge thing of eggs, and like...
And just make a
tapatio.
A vat of it.
And we'd make a vat of that, and we would just eat that like 3 times a day.
Yep.
And so like we would sleep on the floor. And I don't even think we had a couch anymore. We just had a big TV on the floor. That's right.
Yeah.
And so we didn't sleep. We did all this stuff because we were, quote, artists.
That's right.
And we were like hysterical because we were so exhausted from climbing. We were so sleep deprived, and we had no vitamins or minerals in our body at all. But we sat there and we watched the show. And like literally we're kicking the air and high-fiving ourselves and being like, we're fucking geniuses!
Yeah.
We're fucking geniuses! And that was like the best time of my life.
It was. It was really, really good. Like, again, it comes back to that, like, we were poor as shit and we ate the cheapest food that we could find, but we were creating, you know, memories along with these videos, and that was perfect. That time was really hard, but it was perfect. I don't know how we got girls into, when we were living together, like to come over.
Like, you should come to my house and sit on the floor because we have no furniture.
Exactly.
And you can watch the movies we make because we're filmmakers.
Yeah.
And
I'm surprised somebody wasn't like,
we can
"Are
feed
you
you a
guys
bowl
gay?"
of rice.
Like, yeah, right.
Would you like anything to eat? Sure. What do you have? Rice.
Rice.
We can put hot sauce on it. What? Yep. Watch our show. We're geniuses. There were so many.
Dude, somehow we took a trip to film the Yacht Rock episode.
Yes.
At Stony Point.
Yes.
And somehow I ended up getting like a super hot Asian to fly up.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
She was super hot.
Yeah, she was.
She was crazy hot.
She was crazy hot. She was older than me, and she was older than you.
Yeah.
But she was 15 years older, 15 years my senior. But she was so incredibly small, and she was respectfully, she was gorgeous.
Petite.
She was very petite, perfectly petite.
P-word column's gonna stagger under its own weight.
That's
which is the complete opposite of that girl.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the things we used to do to end our shows was we would always do a thanks.
Yeah.
Like Hosh Miagi, thanks. MFSB, thanks.
Oh my God.
And so I would like to thank, in order of preference, Asian girls, because
Yeah.
they've had a big impact on both of our lives.
Petite
Asian girls,
Yep.
but just kind of girls in general, because there's been a lot of girls that have had to put up with my masculine bullshit and my I'm a rock climber and well, I don't care if it's Christmas, I'm leaving because I'm going on a climbing trip. Sorry.
And you know, and
you can't contact me because I'm going to be in the wilderness, and you just have to deal with maybe I'm alive or dead, maybe I'm with somebody else. Like, you just have no idea, and then I'll come back and like, oh, we broke up 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was gone for a month.
And to pause the thank yous, like girls, really climbing, we either want to like impress the girls without actually like, oh, I'm gonna impress the girl. You know, we want to impress the girls, so we would climb more. When we were happy with what our girl did, we would go climb because we're happy. And when we're angry and to get away from the girls, we would go climb. So girls have had a very big effect on our climbing career. At least mine, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's funny that like, you said that, because that they are the total A to Z. So it didn't matter what they did.
They pushed us to go.
There's no girls in my life. I'm gonna climb all the time.
Yep.
There's a girl in my life, so I'm gonna spend 5 days a week with her and thinking about her. But then I need my day to like go be a man in the wilderness. Or I'm gonna take her with me, and then I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna take you climbing all the time because I want to teach you how to do this, and this is a thing that we can do together.
Exactly.
But it was still made the climbing happen.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's my first thank. I'm gonna thank all the girls and the women
females,
that, or girls that I've met or climbed with, and you know, there's a lot of awesome girls out there that do climbing too. And then to go to another P word, the partners. Like there've been so many people I've climbed with, and people that have taught me stuff, or people that we've run into on the trail and they've given us some good beta, but like, oh, you should do this, you should go over here, or, you know, you go camp at this place, you know, all those random things, whether it's like, oh, I'm on a trip by myself and you're on a trip for yourself, so let's just travel together, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, we just spent 2 months together, or whether it's like we passed each other on the trail and you were like, gave me some kind of like a, enjoy the climb, and you're like, I will. Yeah. You know, like it could be that small. Yeah. Like all those partners have just contributed to all the trips being so great. And then the last thing I want to thank, because I kind of just want to do it in terms of like groups, because there'd be too many people or individual things.
Yeah. None of you are that important.
Yeah, that's right. You're just a member of some group.
That's right. Just kidding.
Some posse.
Oh.
Busting it out.
Yeah.
Great 80s film with Meryl Van Peebles in it.
Wow. Good reference.
Good Peoples.
Good Peoples.
That's right.
Yeah.
I want to thank Hosh Miagi, because if it wasn't for, because Hosh Miagi, Fresh CroMagnon Men is Hosh Miyagi's, I was gonna say baby, but with a P emphasis. Yeah. But it's the B.
Brain. What's the? I guess I don't know. I'll have to look.
Anyway,
thesaurus.
So this is your thesaurus. Oh wait, sorry. This is your
this is your thesaurus.
The Fresh CroMagnon Men was the Hosh Miagi creation. Yeah. And I kind of feel like, oh, you had this great concept, and we came together. It like blew up. Yeah. You know. But if you hadn't said, so I had this concept. Yeah. I never would have been like, oh, well, we should have a web series, and I'll edit them and post them, and we'll make a thing of it. It would have just been like, I'll go climb with my buddy, you know. So all of this and getting into LA and getting into the film world and doing projects all came from the fact that
we started filming.
We started making a web series.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for you, none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
I would be in your studio right now.
Well, you're welcome, because you should thank me every day of your life.
I do, mostly silent.
Silent thank yous.
Yep.
Silent gratitude.
Asterisk, you can hear this.
Yeah. No, and that's I mean, I guess for my thank yous, I'd have to start off with thanking MFSB, because when I first started climbing, I was climbing in vans without a crash pad, going way too high and not knowing what I was doing. And
vans are hard to strap to your feet.
Vans are really hard to, The
sliding door opens.
Exactly.
The tires are heavy.
Yeah, tires are the transmission is what gets you.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you're in the right gear.
It's too long.
You gotta send it, put it into send. That's why there's an S on the gear shift.
Oh, God. Oh, man. But also, you taught me that, I mean, when we first started climbing, we obviously had totally opposite climbing styles. Yeah. You know, you were finesse, and I was aggro. I was super,
power.
Yeah. Oh my God, power. Yep. It was. You were pirouettes. I was power.
I was like, look, I did these 8 moves and there I didn't make any sound. You're like, ah, tough.
Yep. I skipped those moves.
What?
Yeah. No, but it's one of those things that like we kind of came together and you touched on it earlier, but we leveled each other out a little bit. You know, I learned that I needed to actually, you know, take my time sometimes, and body position really does count. I just can't jump to the top of every climb. And so I had to learn how to move, body movement. I learned a lot of that from you. So, and then I have to thank Mother.
My second mom.
Yeah, for making, she's been a saint through all of this, you know, like.
God bless her.
Get a job. No, I think I'll go climb. Bye. And, which didn't make her happy, but I'd come back from climbing and she'd have like tostones and like make a bunch of food and stuff because she knew that I'd be hungry after climbing. And I mean, I say my mom in particular, but my whole family, obviously, because they've been there through a lot. But mom specifically just because like she's physically been there. Mm-hmm. Also have to thank minivans. I know it sounds weird, but this really is the second half to my climbing career because the first half started with a white minivan. And I literally just, they hauled it away yesterday.
Oh, I was wondering.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, which is everyone, Hosh was in a almost career-ending pile up.
Yeah.
What was that? Beginning of the summer?
March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
March 4th.
I was in Moab and you were in Traction.
I was. Yeah. It was pretty bad. The guy's in jail now, apparently. So, I mean, I could sit here and thank people and things all day long, but I mean, really, I guess I should have grouped these people in with you, but people that really took the time and had the patience to teach me, you know, because I can learn how to do anything, but the learning curve is so out there that without your help and without other people's help, it would have just taken so long.
We've been recording for like an hour.
Probably.
I'm gonna play it in regular speed. Here's a 32-minute interview.
I know.
As the sun sets.
But you know what? For the people that, if you do that, for the people that actually take the time to listen to all of that, they'll probably laugh a couple of times. And
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Cry a couple times.
Yeah. Hank, Bill, you know what I'm talking about. Give me a call, 310-916-8808.
Well, you're gonna have everyone calling you now.
I know.
They're like, let's just call for no reason.
Who's that guy?
My name's Hank.
And by Hank and Bill, I mean Henry Rollins and William Shatner. So if you're not one of those people, I'd care not to talk to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, on the street is fine.
Yeah, you can talk to me on the street if you're nice and give me juice.
When you say P words.
If you say P words, it'll probably get you pretty far with this kind of personality here. So, yeah.
So thanks for watching Fresh Crow after 7 seasons
and listening
and 8 years and listening. This is MFSB signing off.
And this is Hosh Miagi signing off.
That's POW for now.
Signing off for now. Yeah.
Yeah.
POW for now. Maybe be back. Okay, we're signing off. Thanks for listening to.
We now return to your regular scheduled broadcast.
5.14.
To your regular scheduled podcast.
We should just have a podcast.
We should have a podcast. Can we just do this like, if we did this for like 2 or 3 hour session, like once a week? Do you want this close?
Yeah.